for joining us for this Friday afternoon briefing for COVID-19 as well as some city news. Today's numbers, these are our system-wide numbers for Forest General Hospital, Merit Health Wesley, Hattiesburg Clinic, Semri, and the Moffitt Health Center at USM. As of today, 42,198 tests have been conducted since the beginning of March. 4,918 of those have come back positive. Again, those are system-wide, not just Forest and Lamar counties. 36,617 have come back negative. We have pending tests of 656. The pending test number is actually a really positive development from last week. This is actually 50% of what it was last week, and so we know that Forest General and Forest General and Hattiesburg Clinic have switched labs, which have helped turnaround times for tests in their outpatient settings from 24 to 36 hours, and so getting that pending test number down means that we can diagnose people faster, which means we can get them isolated if they are COVID positive, and so I would say that's the one promising development this week. In terms of hospitalizations, we're back at 87 right now. People between our two hospitals that are COVID positive. We have 3 under investigation. 37 of those are in the ICU. That's Merit Health Wesley and Forest General combined. Over time, this is kind of how it's laid out. Since about the middle of July, we've been over 80. We saw a slight dip earlier this week, but that number's back up, and so we hope to see that number start to come down as more positive cases hopefully come down as well. We had 1 death reported in Lamar County today, or actually yesterday, and that brings their total to 14. 5 deaths in the past 7 days. We send our well wishes and condolences to that family. New positive cases today. Forest County saw 37 new positive cases. Lamar County saw 8. Metro area total of new positive cases today is at 45, which brings totals to 1,758 since this began in Forest County. 1,192 in Lamar County. We're getting close to the 3,000 mark for our metro area. Our 5-day average, where we take the number of new positive cases today, we average it to 2 days prior and 2 days after. Forest County continues to kind of sort of stay in the middle between 20 and 30. Lamar County's thankfully has started to drop. That number was also reflected in the inside 14-day number, which we'll see next. This is because this disease has a 14-day life cycle, or fewer unless there's an adverse reaction. Typically, the number of people who have tested or received their positive test in the past 14 days is a basic indicator on how many active cases your community might have right now. In Forest County, that number stands at 405 right now. Over in Lamar County, that number is down to 291, which has been positive as well. This number right here shows kind of we hit that peak over the weekend where Forest County's was up in the 470 range. Lamar County's started dropping a little bit before that, and so we hope that if Forest County can continue its hopeful decline in community transmission and Lamar County continues its, we'll be able to get that inside 14-day number down considerably. Statewide today, we saw 1,036 new cases, 23 new deaths. Our overall goals continue to be protecting vulnerable populations, people over the age of 60, people with underlying or chronic health conditions. If we do that, because those folks are the more likely to have an adverse reaction and end up in the hospital, if we can keep them out of the hospital, we're less likely to overrun our healthcare system by slowing the spread. And if we can do both of 1 and 2, we can continue prioritizing public health while giving the private sector the space it needs to continue operating. 4 factors that we look at: widespread availability of testing, wearing of masks, which of course we are still under state and local mask orders, watching our own data, listening to all voices. I talked last Friday's briefing about how last week was just not a good week for us. And while this week we have a couple of things that we can kind of hang our hat on and say, hey, that was positive this week. One was that decline in pending test to half of where it was last Friday. Forest County, of course, 402 last Friday, 405 today, and yes, that is an increase. However, what we didn't see this week are these big jumps in terms of new positive cases. And so while we're still at 402, it's not the big jump we saw from like 3 weeks ago till last Friday. And so what we're also seeing is we saw several cases of new positive tests coming out of Moffitt Health Center at USM. And that's likely going to be kind of a thing that we have to just deal with as the fall semester begins. But even with those new positives at Moffitt Health Center, it still only went up 3 from last Friday, which means maybe the community transmission in Forest County is starting to maybe level off and come down a little bit. Of course, Lamar County saw a decrease of over 80 in a given week, so that's positive for them. Our metro area now under 700, still very concerning, still not where we were, just over a month and a half ago when we were really kind of seeing some good gains in terms of keeping things low. But hopefully we'll have a good weekend. All of us will make good decisions, and we can get that down. Hospitalizations, though, still kind of in tough territory for us right now. 81 in the hospital last Friday, 87 today. ICU also up as well. This all points to the fact that we, this weekend, we need to all make good individual and collective decisions. The best thing you can do to help these numbers, to help continue finding that functional normal for us, as we know this is going to go on for quite a while, is to wear your mask if you go out. It's to socially distance yourself, avoid large crowds, and just if you don't have to go out, don't go out. But by doing those things, we can kind of see these numbers continue, hopefully, to go the right direction. A couple pieces of good city news. Today, paving crews moved over to Fairley Street in Ward 2. This is the neighborhood that's east of Bowie Street, called the Gula, and Fairley Street has been in tough shape for quite a while, and so crews will finish this up on Monday. But I know those residents are glad to see that done. We're also in our North 38th Avenue project. It's been tough to drive over the last couple of months, but the contractors are moving along a little bit faster than expected. The stoplights were installed this week, and they should be functional this weekend. And so I know this has been a need for the North 38th Avenue to have a light at Montague since I was a student a long time ago. And so to see this finally come to fruition, this is one of the requests that students had at Southern Miss to be able to get on and off North 38th Avenue safely. And so we hope to see this project, again, it's moving along faster than expected. We hope that maybe by the middle of September we can have the road paved and all that. And finally, our act of courage also goes to the University of Southern Mississippi, the collaboration between not only just the Moffitt Health Center, which I just mentioned, but also their School of Biological, Environmental, and Earth Sciences. That school, that lab they have there, they're using their expertise in infectious diseases and testing to turn around test results at the Moffitt Health Center within 24 hours. That is a game changer in a place on a campus with people living in the same residence halls and turning sorority houses. It is a game changer to have that capacity to test quickly, get results back, and isolate people if they need to be isolated so they don't spread it even further. So thank you to this collaboration, keeping our students safe as the fall semester begins. As we go into the weekend, please remember to wash your hands, take care of yourself mentally and physically, wear a mask if you go out in public, do only what is essential, and remember, you are safer at home. Have a great weekend.